Gazbeard's Battles in Battle Pirates. This week we have a special set of time-limited campaigns from Kixeye. They started last night, they finish same time next week. And the one we're looking at in this video is High Tide 2nd Edition, which is a repeat of a campaign that appeared not so long back, but with modified final target. So, the targets themselves are familiar to all of us. They are the same Legion Assault Force targets that appear on the world map for gathering foundry parts. They spawn near the relay towers in each sector. And I'm not really going to talk much about the individual battles unless there's something that I think is important to point out. I'm using my Apollos. I've got a Zoe Apollo and two standard Apollos. The Zoe is not yet sculled, the two standard Apollos are, and they get the 75% turn speed and reload speed bonuses on the sculled ranking. So the first target is absolutely no problem, takes about 20 seconds to get through. The key point to remember in this campaign is when you're doing Prize Pack 3, you've only got 1 hour to do the entire set of 7 targets. If you cannot finish the first 6 targets in under half an hour, and preferably under 25 minutes, then it's probably best to abort the campaign and restart it, because you've messed up somewhere, and you will need about 30 minutes to do the final target. Now, in this video, I actually messed up because I used a Sea Serpent's crew for the turn speed and the evade bonuses, and that was fine in targets 1 to 6. But in target 7 I should have been using a Bullseye Brigade crew. That guaranteed hit that it gives to countermeasures would have saved me taking any damage at all from the Zoe Rhinos, and also from the megaship missiles and from the missile turrets on the islands. The only damage that I would have taken would have been from the corrosive scattergun turrets, and in all honesty, the Apollos with the build that I've got that's shown at the very end of the video, it would have just shrugged that off. It would have said, corrosive what? Pfah! And I could have done the whole campaign for no coins at all. As it turned out, even using a Sea Serpent's crew, I got through battles 1 to 6 with 0 coining. It was all instant repairs. Sometimes I had to dive back into the base and just split up the fleet and repair one ship at a time to get the 5-minute instant repair. But that was no problem. You know, that only cost me about 30 seconds going into base and coming out again. And I think I had to do that twice. For the other 4 targets in the first 6, it was just an instant repair at sea, less than 5 minutes total damage, which is great. You know, these are the sorts of campaigns that I love when Kixeye throws them out. Speaking of which, how many of you completed the Malevolence campaign last week, where the Reavers decided to attack our bases and went into Lemming Train kamikaze mission mode? That was great fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that one, and I hammered through that. I wish, however, that they'd corrected the release notes on that, because it said there was 1 hour to do. Was it one of the attacks or the whole thing? I can't remember. And in actual fact, it was a day. So it would have taken a lot of stress off that. I think it was the final set of waves where I thought, well, it's 1 hour start to finish, you know, I've got to get things repaired and get the turrets back up and so on. But as it happened, I needn't have stressed, because my base and my fleet coped with it perfectly. Anyway, back to this one, back to High Tide 2. Kixeye admits that they've retuned the target number 7 in the 3rd prize pack. And we know that when they say they've retuned a target, they've increased the difficulty. And as you'll see a little bit later in the video when we get to it, yep, those Zoe rhinos are really pushing the damage out now. The first time that High Tide was put out, I did it with just the two Apollos without the Zoe, and I did it all the way through for 0 coining. This time I've got the Zoe with all its buffs and bonuses, and you'll see that the result in Prize Pack 7 was quite different. Now, a large part of that was down to the fact that I was still using the Sea Serpents crew instead of the Bullseye Brigade crew to take on the mega ship and all its guards. I freely admit that. I messed up. I completely forgot that that's what I should have done, and I just battered on. How much of a difference would the Bullseye crew have made? Well, quite a lot really, because none of the Zoe Rhino missiles would have reached my Apollos, and probably 95% of all the damage that I took in that wave came from those. So I could have probably got through it in one hit without losing a ship if I'd used the Bullseye Brigade. They might have been fairly battered when they came out of it, but it wouldn't have needed diving back to base to coin some repairs. So as you can see, we've done now 4 targets, and they're all instant repairs. We're coming up to target 5, and it continues on. Nice and easy, this one. I can't think of anything to say, to be honest. My Apollos are running with 8 switchblades, 1 blade and 1 phalanx 4 on each of them. They've each got 5 of the D2M missile armour. They've got the relevant specials to give them missile and corrosive defences, and they hold up quite well. Now this target number 5, this I think is the level 75 Legion Assault Force that spawns at the relay towers on the world map for Foundry parts. If it's not the 75, it must be the 85. Can't remember exactly. The way that I always hit this is I dive in and I take out the ships, and I hit it all from the right hand side, hitting those ships that are parked around that torpedo tower and oil rig. Drags in the ships from the other end of the map. You can see them moving across as I hit each right hand end ship in turn. This saves me having to chase round and round the base to kill them. It saves a lot of time if they come to me, and they're obviously travelling across to me as I'm hitting the ships at this end, which means that at most I'm facing 2 ships at any one time, and that's fine. The Apollos can handle that. Just drive in until they're just touching your range circle, do a quick U-turn, shooting at them as you're turning. You put enough missiles in the air from the switchblades that it'll kill them, and by turning away and running, the Apollos generally have got the speed to outrun anything that the heavy cruisers throw at you from their corrosive scatter guns, if they even get a shot off, and they outrun most of the Zoe Rhino missiles. The ones they can't outrun, the countermeasures take down, and at worst you should only have 1 or 2 missiles landing on you, and in these first 6 targets that's not a problem because they don't have huge damage. I'd love to know what missile they're running in Wave 7, which we're just about to start. No, sorry, Target 6 we're starting. And I suspect it might be something like the Scoria missile that they're running in the Wave 7 Mega Hull wave. The damage output on it is phenomenal, and they're probably buffed to the hilt with specials and God knows what else. It's the similar sort of syndrome to when you see somebody put a spite into your base and take down a turret with 600,000 points of armour plus 50 to 75% defence buff against missiles, and they do it with 3 volleys. You know, I mean, that's that's what, nearly 1,000,000 points of armour that they're destroying in 3 volleys with 1 spite. I mean, Kixeye said that they were going to do away with power creep. All they seem to have done is accelerate it. So anyway, here we are. I think this layout is the level 95 Legion Assault Fleet on the world map, and as you can see, 3 Apollos are just cruising through it without a care in the world. So if you're struggling for the foundry parts for the line that the Legion Assault Fleets give you, don't be scared of them. They're not as tough as they look. They give you the parts for the Rhino and the Kodiak, which is the assault line in the foundry. That, these targets really are not as tough as they look, and as long as you've got Apollos, you should be hitting them, and you should have all of your assault line of foundry ships up to rank 5. Won't take long. Even without a crew, when I'm bored, I'll send the Apollos out and I'll go hitting Legion Assault Force targets to get foundry parts, regardless of what state sector threat's at. And I'll usually be able to do, I don't know, somewhere around about 20 to 30 level 75s, 85s, 95s before I'm even thinking about coming back for repairs if I've forgotten to do the instant repairs on the world map. So here we are, finally we're in the target number 7, the megaship target. This is the one that everybody's concerned about in the forums, and as with the other targets, the heavy cruisers are absolutely no problem. They've got short range scatter guns. Just get them on the edge of your circle and turn around and run away. The Rhinos, on the other hand, as you can see, they really throw in the damage, even just with 1 or 2 of their missiles hitting me. So that's the heavy cruisers out the way, and you just watch the damage that I'm taking off these Rhinos. It is insane. I should have had the Bullseye Brigade crew on my fleet, because the buff that gives to countermeasures would have countered those Zoe missiles. They seem to have loaded them up with flak evasion in addition to having buffed their damage. So we'll just get rid of the towers on this island, and you see me dodging backwards and forwards in and out of the range triggers for the megaship missiles. I'm actually not that worried about the megaship missiles. You'll see why in a minute. But why risk extra damage, and particularly why risk getting trapped in one of those cryo fields? One of the Apollo's main defences is its mobility. So they are 6 Zoe's Rhinos in that first part of the attack on Wave 7. Killed my entire fleet, and just those 6 Zoes did more damage to the fleet than all of the previous 6 waves and the heavy cruisers in the megaship wave. So I've just dived back to base, got some coins because I didn't have enough, repaired the fleet, come back out. Okay, so we got one island down. We got all the ships on one side of the megaship down. We got half of the ships on a second side of the megaship down. So what we need to do is go around, get rid of those 2 Zoe Rhinos that you can see on screen right now, and take out that other island at the top, and then we can make an assault on the megaship. Because if we can get the megaship out of the way, it means we can focus and concentrate better on the remaining smaller ships that we have to take out. And again, exactly the same tactic as with the heavy cruisers. Drive in until the target is on the edge of my range circle, U-turn, shooting at it as I run away, and as you can see, I'm putting out enough firepower to take it down without a problem, but it's getting enough firepower to take down what it's throwing at me. And I suspect if I had 5 ships in the fleet, then I wouldn't need the Bullseye Brigade crew to do that. As it is, I haven't got it loaded anyway. I'm still using the Sea Serpent's crew, and that's hampering my countermeasures. It is giving my ships more mobility, which does help a little bit, particularly against the heavy cruisers and their scatterguns, but it's not helping me against the Zoe Rhinos. Now, you can see I've driven right into the inner range circle for the scatterguns on the megaship, and I just don't care about them. My Apollos don't, why should I? They just shrug off this corrosive damage. It barely scratches them. And there we are, that's the megaship out the way. The last of my Apollos has got about a third of its health, so I'm just going to run away, retreat, and fingers crossed that will let me do an instant repair at sea without having that annoying 2 minutes more than a coin's worth, which would cause me to go back to base to save a coin. Yep, and there we are, just under 4 hours with 2 ships dead and 1 at 1/3 health. So I can instant repair at sea for 8 coins without wasting a coin for a couple of minutes, and straight back into it. And with the megaship down and over half of the defence ships out of the way, theory says this repair should allow me to finish the target. So first things first, we'll get rid of this island, target that dock and go for the retargeting onto the nearest turret. Bonus, we took out the middle one of the 3 at the back. Just get rid of that last one. Give myself some breathing room to hit this Zoe. Use the island to obstruct one or more of the other Zoes so that you're only facing one at a time. It lets your countermeasures have a better chance at knocking down the Zoe's missiles. And as you can see there, quite well. And we just lost a ship. So let's get rid of this Zoe. And I believe that's the last of them. Looks like it, so we'll get rid of that half damaged single turret up there before we take on the last island. And my fleet's pretty battered at this point. It's down to about 20% health. Has it got enough to go round? The scanner turret got me. So I'm now on a 10% health with the last ship. Get rid of the missile turret, no problem. Get rid of the scanner turret, no problem. So that means I've got to do another repair. Well, with one turret and a dock left to do, I'm not going to fully repair the fleet for coins. So I'm just going to dive back into base, repair the ships one by one for 1 coin of repair, bring them back out, and with just under 11 minutes left, I've got longer than I thought, so I could actually have done micro repairs and just given them 1 minute each of repair to bring them out to take down that last turret. If I had done that, then instead of sending them in grouped up the way that they are, I would have sent them in from opposite directions, so that the turret could only focus on one ship at a time, and the other 2 would have had enough health to knock it down. But having put 30 minutes of repair on each of them with a coin each, I'm not worried about that. I can just charge in as a group and finish the target off. So there we are, that's the campaign done. And I got my 5 days of Harlock Tideseekers build tokens, hurrah! Which was good because I had a 4.5 day build left on a Harlock Tideseeker in my dock, and that's the whole reason I wanted to do the campaign, was to get that ship out and get the next ship into the dock. There's the build, hope you enjoyed it.